rest, he's Sisa. So first of all, answer last week's question. The question was, how many of the bells and pomegranates did the Kohen Gadol have at the bottom of his me'il? Answer is Zvachim Peches on the base. The correct answer was submitted by Saba Reichman. Once again, the answer is, according to Tanakama, there were 72 in total. 72 of the bells and pomegranates, and that was 36 in front, 36 in back. Rabbi Doisel says B'Shem Rabbi Yehuda that there were 36 in total, which makes it 18 in front and 18 in the back.
Yeah, good.
Correction, also small correction from last week. We said that if this year wasn't a Shana Mubaris, maybe it would have been Truma and Tzava together, but really that's impossible though, because Truma and Tzava can never be together. So.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So when you're looking in the Chumash, you look in the beginning of the Parsha. Ki Sisa is Rosh B'nai Yisrael of Kudehem. Each person gives a kofer nafshe Hashem. So it won't be a negef. How much is it? How much does each person need to give? Ze yitnu. Kol over al Kudeh machatzis ha-shekel b'shekel ha-kodesh. It needs to be a machatzis ha-shekel in the shekel ha-kodesh. Esrum geira ha-shekel. So esrum geira is the whole shekel. Machatzis ha-shekel truma Hashem. It should be half of that. It should be 10 geira. Half a shekel. So why is it half a shekel? This question, some Farshim asked this question, why does it need to be exactly half a shekel? The first is Ravina Bechai first talks about this. He says, he gives a few different reasons. Ravina Bechai always goes in like Derech HaPshat, then he goes into Drush, Medrash, and then Al Derech HaSeichel, Al Derech HaSoid. He always goes through all the steps. So first he says, yeah. So he says, the reason why Machas is a shekel, because they were over on the Egel. We're assuming now that the Machas shekel is being a kapara on the Egel. So the Egel is being over on the Sefer Dibros, and Machas shekel is 10 geros, because a complete shekel is 20 geros. So they're giving 10 geros, which is half of a shekel, because they're connected the 10 Dibros that they're over on.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's a pshat he gives. Al derech ha-medrash, he brings a medrash on Chum Machas shekel because they were chote by the Egel in half of the day, because it says Vayiki Boishesh Moshe, when Moshe was delayed, the medrash darshan ba sheish, the 6th hour had come. Boishesh is ba sheish, so that means that the Chet Egel happened at the 6th hour of the day, which is noon. The Chet Egel happened in the middle of the day, so you give a half of a shekel. Okay, that's the reason for medrash.
I think there's also a pshat like half of the shekel, because it's like half of the nefesh was chote with the Egel.
Half of the nefesh. Okay, yeah.
Because their wives didn't give their jewelry.
Oh yeah, okay, we'll talk about that, yeah. Okay. Yeah. Let's finish up. He gives one more answer on Derech HaSeichel. He says this, so he says like, Machas shekel, okay, it's not a good enough answer. It could have been, a whole shekel was 10 geros. I mean, a whole shekel was 10 geros. Why did it need to be exactly half of a shekel? We need a reason for the half. We don't need, we have a reason for the 10 geros. So he says, it's going to be merumos, sheroy l'chol maskil, sheyishko ma'asav v'shavah. Each person should be shekel, like lashon shekel, all his ma'asim equally. So he should give, it says he should give half of his guf, he should divide his guf. Half of his body should be to avoid Hashem, and that should go after his nefesh. But half of it, he also needs to do physical things, like he needs to eat, drink, wear clothing, all these things that he needs to do to live. So that's half and half. Half is the gashmias and half is the ruchnias. So that's what the Machas shekel is coming to show. He talks about this inyan here. He says like, so a person should divide their body equally, gashmias and ruchni. So we see by Yaakov, that's exactly what Yaakov did. He did 14 years of gashmias for working for the 2 daughters of Lavan, and then he did exactly the same amount, 14 years, in Beis Shem Ever. So he did Torah and working the same amount. That's what we see by Yaakov. So that's right.
Yafa telling Torah. Yafa derech.
Yeah. It should be divided equally. So that's what the shekel, Machas shekel. It says Machas shekel b'shekel hakodesh. Machas is a shekel it's his meisim are shkulim, and it's divided in half. B'shekel HaKodesh. Then all his meisim will turn kodesh. Machzis shekel, then everything will become shekel HaKodesh. So that's what the Rabbeinu Bechai says. So now there are a different reason, and the first two reasons Rabbeinu Bechai is also brought Das Kanim from Valley Tosfos. That's what the Rishonim say. Now the Torah Moshe. Look in Torah Moshe, it's Al Torah from the Alshich. The Alshich, from the 1500s, from the time of Yosef Cairo, the Ramak, the Arizal, of Chaim Vital.
It's actually the Rebbe of Chaim Vital.
Rebbe? He got smicha from Yosef Cairo,
Oh, yeah.
So, Moshe Alshich, he also speaks about this, he says, the reason why the sheer max is shekel, and it's not shekel sholim, Chazal say, first he says, Shalmi and Shkolim says, because Avodah Zarah is shekula, connected over on the Seres Dibros, so since they did the Egel, which is Avodah Zarah, it's if they're over in all the Seres Dibros, so it needs to be 10 Gero. It says, B'Shem HaChacham Reb Shlomo ben Alkabitz Zal. B'Shem HaChacham Shlomo Alkabitz, he's actually Ben Doiroi. And he says Zal, it must have been, he said this in the last, I think, 16 years of his life, when it was only the Alshich, and Shlomo Alkabitz was already nifter, but they were at the same time. He says, B'Shemim, I heard that to show B'nai Yisrael the Achdus, that each person shouldn't think that he's separated from his friend. It's each person's half, so each person needs to give half of a shekel, and only when they attach, they become a shekel sholim. Each one gives a machas shekel. That's why the Torah says to bring a machatzis. So he says, so this is what you heard from Sholom Aaron. But now, we need to bring a reason why it's over here. It says the Alshich. We need to bring a reason why the Torah is saying this lesson right here. He says, I will come after him and I will fill in his words. Because after Hashem says, and also ish kaifer nafsho, each person needs to give a kaifer of his nefesh. A person will say, oh, I need to give a kaifer nefesh? Well, why do I need to get punished and give away my money for something, avoid the chet that all the people who did it, they already died from the egel. Why do I need to do it? What does that have to do with me? Why does each person should just die on his own chet? So who made us responsible for them? Why do we need to give it? That's why Al-Kaid Ramaz Lani Yisbarach. That's why Hashem is giving a remez here. Ki kol ish Yisrael nafsho kshura bechaveroi. Each person of Yisrael, his nefesh is tied to his friend. They're really from the same place, and all the nefashos of Yisrael are all considered like one. So right here, when you see the counting, each person's counting. Oh, it looks like everyone's separate. Each person's counted, and each person's their own one. No, still each person needs to give a machas shekel. Right here, the Torah is giving this lesson. Each person's only half. And he says, also Hashem wanted to show that, that he says, like we know from the Sefer Zohar, that all nefashos come above, they go to Pir, Zachar, and Nekeva. Like you mentioned, but like it says, Zachar and Nekeva, Braham, they were really together. It comes from the same place.
So v'davak v'shtav v'yil v'asar cham.
Yeah.
Like one.
Yeah. So, yeah, because Zachar Levada is Machetz is Adam, he says. And so is for the Nekeva. Each one's half of a person. So the Chazal say that in the Medrash says that in the Egel, Shum Isha Loi Chata. Now, one woman was Chote in the Egel. So, there's only the Pagam of the Egel is only half of the person. The whole Nefesh, only half of the person. The Zachar side has the Pagam. But no Isha was Chote. So that's why a person needs to bring a machas shekel to fill in the pagam of half of the nefesh. These are two reasons. First, to show that everyone's achtos, even though we're counting, it looks like not achtos. But then also because the only pagam of the egel is in half the nefesh. So you only need to give a machas shekel. You don't need to give a whole shekel to give a kapara on the whole egel. So now, also in the Sefer Pardes, Sefer Tzavnas Paneach, by Yaakov Yosef HaKohen.
See why you call it Tzavnas Paneach?
Yeah. It's things he heard from the Baal Shem Tov. He was actually the Talmud of the Baal Shem Tov, the original Hasidim. Tzavnas Paneach, he quotes this Alshach, and he says it's actually also explained why it doesn't say Kisisa as Roshei B'nai Yisrael. It says Kisisa as Rosh B'nai Yisrael, the head of B'nai Yisrael. Why doesn't it say the heads of B'nai Yisrael? The reason is because it's what the Alshach says. It's coming to show the Achdos of Yisrael. So that's why it says Rosh, as if they're all one, just like Shivim Nefesh. Like Chazal Darshan over there, by Shivim Nefesh that went into Mitzrayim, as if they're one Nefesh. It doesn't say Shivim Nefashos. That's what he says. It explains also many other things in the Psukim. It explains the Yukin. And the Pnei David also has a different approach to this. Pnei David is from the Chidah. The Chidah is Sefer on Torah. Pnei David, he says that the reason for Machas is a shekel, the Achronim, first he brings that the Rishonim explain that to show the Achdos, and this is also the reason that Asher lo yarbe, Vadal lo yamit, no one could do less or more, because each person needs to do the same share of half. So he says, Indian, because lengthen is Indian, because he says, what are the shkalim meant for? What do we get with the shkalim? You know what the shkalim meant for? There's a few different things.
To be a kapara for the English.
Yeah, but what do they do with the actual money? So there's a Rashi in this says a few different things. One of the things that they buy carbonized sibur with this money. So Tamidin and Musafin, these are all carbonized sibur. These come for the kapara of Yisrael. Carbonized sibur are coming for the kapara of Yisrael. And so the shkalim are really coming for the kapara. And the karbonos, when could karbonos ein mechabim ela kishisohem achdos echad. The only time karbonos are mechaber is when you saw him achdos. So so that's why even though he's an usher and his friend is an ani, they all look like they're different. Each person needs to be the achdos because it's really trying to bring karbonos the money, and if you really want the karbonos to be accepted, it needs to be everyone has achdos. So that's why it's over here by the shkolim. So to show that each person, the ani and the usher, even though they might look different, they're all a chelek of like ha-hamimah. They're all a chelek of Hashem, and they're all really from the same place. It says, I also heard, just a sneak peek into Purim, I also heard that this is what the kavanah of Esther says. Esther says to Mordechai, Leich, Kinois says, Kla Yehudim, go in and enter in all Yehudim, Parak Daled, Pasuk Tes Zayin. Says like gather all the Yehudim and they should fast for 3 days. So it says, it means to say, Emor lehem divek rushim sheyu kulam achdos echad kinois es kol Yehudim. Gather all the Yehudim, meaning gather in leich kinois, gather in their hearts, and gather, make them all an achdos for all the Yehudim. That's what he heard. So now, according to what we're saying, he says it sweetens because Esther wanted that they would fast because Tainus is malkum of carbon. You know, Tainus is instead of bringing carbon. Yeah. Tainus Mikdash can bring a carbon, but now we need to do a Tainus instead. So now the carbon only works when everyone's an achdos echad. So, first he says leich kenois es kol Yehudim. First they need to be an achdos echad, and then v'tzumo lai, then they should fast. And everyone should fast because Tainus is instead of a carbon. Only when there's achdos, that's when the yaler carbonum l'reich v'chayach. That's only when the carbon will work. And that's good when we're counting Yisrael. They count in Machas shekel because Yisrael are like one guf, and the Shekhinah is shoyra when they're achdos echad, and they want the carbonos to be accepted. They need to have achdos by the shekel. Because he says right now when they're being counted, it looks like everyone's separate, and that's why they count Machas as shekel to show everyone's achdos. Even though just when it looks the Mare Einayim, just when you look at it, it looks like everyone's separate, but really B'Tselem, everyone's really one. So that's when you do it by the time of the counting, right when everyone looks separate. Chas v'shalom. So he also, just a thing it's worthy to quote, interesting thing he also says, because the Gemara says that one of the things that Moshe Rabbeinu was saying to Hashem was that you can't do anything to the Yisrael for being over on the Egel, because it says, Anochi Hashem Lekecha, you're only saying it to me. Hashem Lekecha, you only say it to me. Moshe Rabbeinu, Elekecha, you didn't say Elekechem. You only said Lashon Yochid. So, as Moshe Rabbeinu said, Li Tivisa Lahem, my Tivisa, you didn't command anything to them. So he says, Lachein ba acharkach mitzvahs machzes shekel. That's why right after this comes mitzvah machzes shekel. Lahirus shekulam nechshavim ke'echa. They actually are all. So when Hashem said Noach Hashem lekecha, He was saying it to all of them. V'zeh she'amar lechaper al nafsho seichem. That's what also says. Okay, lechaper al nafsho seichem. Kolaymar al asher ola al vavchem ki atem. Alibchem ki atem rabim. You thought that you're rabim. It's mechaper on nafsho seichem, the rabim of your nefashos, that you thought you're rabim, but really no, you're really yochid. And after Hashem lekecha, Hashem's talking to all in Klal Yisrael as a yochid. V'al zeh savartem ki onochi lashon yochid nemar. You thought it was onochi lashon yochid. Like you Klal Yisrael, you thought it was not all Yisrael. Really, he's talking to all Yisrael. But tzurichem atem mechaper on nafsho seichem. You even mechaper on nafsho seichem. What you thought that you were rabbin, but really, v'fia enes nefesh echad atem chashuvim, v'chein zeh yitru machatzes shekel l'horech ki kol echad palgo degufo im chaveroi. It's coming to show that each person is really half of the guf with his friend. He even brings the remez for this. He says shekel is much of nefesh. It's actually exact 430 exact amount of shekel is nefesh. So each person is half of the nefesh. Only together they become the whole shekel. Each person only gives a half of a shekel, which is really half of a nefesh. Together it's a whole shekel and the whole nefesh. That's what the Chidah says. Okay.
So I'd just like to start. I'd just like to say something in Pshatim. I'm going to show you Sarah.
Sholom Aaron by Shabbos.
Yeah.
Okay, Shabbos this week's parsha.
Yeah. So there's the Sefer Yalkut Raveni. It brings from Rishis Chachma. It's made by the Kabbalah. Shar Shuva Perek Vav. So it brings it B'Shem T'Kunei Zer. It says, before the Chet Egel, every person in Israel had a Neshama Yisera, like every single day. And then after the Chet Egel, it was taken from them, and it didn't come down on it only came down by Shabbos and Yom Tovim.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So most people don't know
That's
that Neshama Yisera is also by Yom Tovim.
Yom Tovim. Yeah.
So there's also
It says Yom Tovim. Interesting.
Yeah. So also there's the Kavanas Hari. In Daf Yud Omen Beis, it says the neshamas Yiseiros that are brought by Shabbos. Some of them come from inside Hevel, Hevel neshama, and it's Nimros in the Mizmar. Havu Lashem B'nei Elim. Havu Lashem B'nei is Rosh Hashanah's Hevel.
Oh, really?
And then also Hishtachu LaHashem Hadras, Hadras. That's also Rosh Hashanah's Hevel. And also the Sofer Tevos of Kol Hashem Chotzev Labuzesh is also Hevel. And then some of them come from Kol Hashem Chotzev.
Oh, Sofer Tevos, right?
Yeah, Sofer Tevos, yeah.
Oh.
And some of them come from Itzad Kayin, and it's named on the pasuk Nisu Na'aros Hashem Nisu, which is Rosh Hashanah's the Gemashi of Kayin.
Oh, wow.
And Kolam Yisu Na'aros Na'ava Kodesh Hashem. So we also true.
Yeah.
No, Kolam Yisu Na'aros is Rosh Hashanah's Kayin.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And then there's another one, Na'ava Kodesh Hashem.
Oh, yeah.
There's a lot of
all around, yeah.
All around the Mizrah, yeah. Okay, yeah.
Okay. Okay, I just want to say about one Indian. When you're just flipping through the parsha, when you're learning Shlomo Targum, you hear the Kriyas Torah. For sure, right away you'll notice that Rishon and Sheni are exceptionally long. The whole parsha is 139 psukim. Rishon and Sheni together are 92 psukim. The rest is only 47. So there must be a real reason for this. Why is it so long? The whole Ma'aseh Egel is in the first two aliyahs. So the Magen Avraham says this. The Magen Avraham, Tav Chaf Ches, Sivkat and Ches, says we're noyig to call a Levi for the whole Parashas Egel, and also we read it in a Kol Namach. So the Machtas shekel explains the reason is because Shevet and Levi weren't quite in the Egel. So if you bring up a Yisrael, you're kind of insulting him. We don't want to embarrass him. So that's why we bring in a Levi, that they weren't part of the Egel. So that's why we squeeze in all the Parashas Egel in the Levi. And he says, because there's a reason, even a Kohen would work. You can even call it a Kohen, because a Kohen and Levi were both not part of the Egel. Just don't read the whole thing to a Kohen, because then it's hard to squish in all the rest of the aliyahs, the rest of the Parsha. So you should do a Kohen and a Levi. So what does it mean to read it in the Kol Namach? It's before in the Kether Shulchan Aruch and the Kaf HaChaim that it's only from Vayiten and Moshe Kechaloisai until Vayecha. That part should be in Kol Namach in like a low voice. And also there's a different paragraph. Also you see in Kether Shulchan Aruch he describes exactly where it is. Simin Ayin Ches Dalid. And the Pri Chadash says, of course, it needs to be loud enough that everyone can hear it to be Yotzei, not too low that they can't hear. And also, the reason why we do it in a low voice is to show that we're regretting this. It's like a Chavota. That's why we read the Parashat Egel in a low voice, and we also only bring it up to a Kohen, not to insult anyone else.
Huh.
And the Kaf HaChaim actually says, he brings, that it actually is better for a Levi to read the whole two aliyos. Because since Aaron made the Eidah, and we don't want to tell a Kohen even a Kohen would be bad to bring up. But if there's no Levi, then for sure you should bring a Kohen instead of Yisrael. Okay, and so that's a shot on that. Just one more interesting thing, a short interesting thing. It says in the Chag Hashem Machar, Aaron was trying to push off the Egel, and he said, tomorrow will be the Chag Hashem. So the Mayana Shal Torah asks, how can it be that Aaron HaKohen was going to say tomorrow's a Chag Hashem? How can he call it a Chag LaHashem? The Egel, how can he call it tomorrow's a Chag for Hashem? So really, he says, he was actually trying to be merumaz to what the Navi says in Zechariah Ches Yotes. It says that all the 4 tanyos, the Asad Lava will be a Sasan and Simcha, the Beis Yehuda. Everything will be a Sasan and Simcha. So he's saying tomorrow will be a Chag Hashem, and we know the next day was the day of Shviras Halucha, it's the day of Yud Zayin Tammuz, and he's showing that tomorrow Shivas of Tammuz will be the Asad Lava, a Chag for Hashem. Okay, Mazel Tov told us finishing Bava Kama and entering into Bava Metzia this Erev Shabbos, and we know also that the same day of finishing Bava Kama is also the same day of finishing of February for the English calendar. And it was actually a leap year this year. In Talmud Hogim, in Sefer Talmud Hogim, page 359, it gives a simon to know when the civil leap year will be. It's every 4 years. So the way to remember it is starting from each of their 100 in their years, of the Goyish years, let's say the year 2000. So that will be a leap year, and every 4 years starting from the 100. So 2004 is a leap year, 2008, 2012, you keep on going until 2020, 2024. 2024 was a leap year. You know the nafkamina of a civil leap year is? No. Nafkamina is, when do you start saying Mashu Ruch Geshem? If it's the next year is going to be a civil leap year like it was this time, then you start on December 5th. So that's why the Sefer needs to say when it is.
Oh, yeah.
So, okay.
The question of the week. Where in Tanakh do we find where do we find a word that has 3 of the same letters in a row? And also, there's a Targum Onkelos in this parsha. So 3 letters of the same letter in a row. Oh
yeah, the hint is that it's the same letter. that appears thrice in both places. Same letter. Okay, thank you for listening to Torah Talk, Parshas Ki Sisa. Okay, yeah.